Hey, I'm Tom.
And I'm Tanner.
Welcome to episode 107 of Bird Squawk.
All right, so right off the bat, we got some non-player news. We got some the jerseys are back. Kelly Green jerseys are back. Not next year, the following year.
2023.
And then next year, they're wearing black helmets with the black uniform. So those could be looking pretty good.
Sweet. Laurie said he wants to try and keep the black when the Kelly Green comes in, maybe as the third alternate. Remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. That's exciting. I know everyone's been calling for these for a long time, so it'll be fun to see them back. Not next year, the following year. But the biggest news of the Eagles' free agency this week is KYZIR White, which is kind of a sneaky, under-the-radar kind of pickup for the Birds.
I like it, man. I like it. The guy's a high-energy dude. I think he's going to come in and want to prove himself. Hearing glowing reviews from San Diego.
The Chargers fans are really upset about him walking. God, it feels like right when it happened, it was kind of like, I never really heard of the dude. Got him on a pretty team-friendly, cheap deal, but high praise for him coming in as a linebacker. Can't complain. Obviously, still, once again, want them to address the linebacker in the draft, but if you can get a decent guy to come in here and finally make some noise, hey, you never know.
How we could have found a diamond in the rough here, a little quiet on the free agent market, but who knows what they got in store. I mean, we're a month away from the draft. Still don't feel like we're keeping all three picks, but who knows? Who knows? You hear Laurie talk today, how he talked yesterday. It's about a building process here, And Laurie talking about, we're not done as far as bringing in like a Steven Nelson type vet. There's some guys still out there that maybe we can go get. And it just feels like they didn't really want to mortgage the future to bring in some of these overpriced wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were saying last week, and that's kind of what Howie said yesterday when he talked. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Like I said last week, I continue to listen to the radio, not as much as it is during the regular season, but still listen when the music's not great. And I don't know what I'm hearing. I still think people can't wrap their minds around that it's gonna be another progression year next year. I don't think people want to accept that yet, but they're complaining about stuff happening now that are just so just nothing to really complain about. But I don't know. Like I said, I kind of have already accepted that it's going to be very similar to last year. There's going to be some really highs and there's going to be some really lows, and you kind of just have to see how this team progresses.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, but I'm still not sure that they've turned this quarterback corner and they're committed to Jalen and they're going to see what goes down. I'm still a little picket, I'm still thinking about it.
I don't know. What I saw, I didn't really think about this. I saw this following us recording last week, that maybe the Birds aren't actually into Pickett. Maybe they're just trying to seem they're into Pickett to trade that pick. Maybe someone comes up to get him.
That could be. Who knows? Who knows what they're up to? We want them to make that big splash, but on the other hand, we don't want them to overpay.
No, that's what I mean.
There's a reason why some of these guys are still out there.
Yeah, there are some big names out there still, like Matthew and Honey Badger. Bobby Wagner's still out there. I mean, the biggest
Gilmore,
one, I was just about to say, that's the biggest one that kind of has some chatter now, is the Stephon Gilmore. I mean, he would be nice on the other side of Slay. I forget what you sent me, but
I mean, it was Slay's wife.
Yeah.
Was friends with his wife.
Yeah.
And she kind of let the cat out of the bag that the Eagles kind of called and are gauging some interest.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you get for him at this point. I mean, obviously, trade from the Pats last year, went down to Carolina, kind of disappeared down there with the Panthers for a little bit. I mean, he's an upgrade from Steven Nelson, depending on what the price tag is. I don't know. I'm really not expecting them to make a splash. I'm not expecting them to go out there and make these big moves that I just don't think people people can't wrap their heads around them not going out and getting these guys, and I don't know why.
I'm still a little confused. I mean, I love Fletch, but really, I mean, 18 million, he didn't live up to that expectation. Now we sign him for what, 14 million? I think he's done. I think he's washed. And then we go out and we sign Barnett again. Well, I mean, what is the deal with this stuff?
Yeah, I know, but the thing with Barnett, I mean, what is he making, like 4.5? And it's option. He's just a rotation guy at this point.
His one claim to fame was getting the fumble.
But
I don't know.
I don't know. I think people are a little. I get he's not the smartest player. We were all kind of agreed that he should be out the door this offseason. But they brought him back. They brought him back on like close to nothing. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like a body. We'll see what happens.
They should have brought him back for every stupid penalty you get. You got to pay us, you know? I mean, you know, really, it was the first time in, a year and a half we heard Lurie actually speak?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what are you going to say? I mean, really, we're where we are.
Yeah.
We are not the upper echelon. We're not ready to take that step.
That's what I mean. And that's kind of, and a lot of people are like, what is Howie saying yesterday? This, that, and the other. And I know you take what he says with a grain of salt, but I truly believe I believe what he said yesterday with them just trying to kind of lay a foundation. Because that really is where they
don't
are.
Get us wrong. We want to win, too.
Well, no, of course. Of course we do.
We got the taste of that Lombardi. Yeah. We want another one, but we're not there.
No.
So why go out and get a piece that's not going to fit and pay way over the limit when we're not ready to do that?
Yeah, you know? they just aren't. As much as we want them to be, they just aren't. Mm-hmm. And once again, like I said last week, we'll convince ourselves that we can win the division, and maybe we can, and maybe we can stay competitive like we were last year. But in the grand scheme of things, they're not going out and like shocking anybody this year. We're
going to be that wild card team again.
Yeah.
We're going to back into the playoffs. I mean, now don't forget, we're going to come in with a little harder schedule this year.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think they're banking a lot on what can Jalen do now with another year under his belt. And you're pretty much, I think we're in this quarterback quandary for a few years here because he's going to have to prove himself again. And then, you know, he's going to have to keep proving himself until we get to that point where that rookie contract is up.
I was literally going to just say that. Next year is the big prove it year. He needs to step up and show that he can be the guy, or they're going to take someone in the draft to go out and get someone. But like you said, I think it's going to be like an every year type of thing. Like until if it gets to the point that they give him an extension, I think it's going to always be like, okay, well, it's Jalen. Next year, it's Jalen. The next year, it's going to have to continue to show growth, or people are going to be out on him. As high as this fan base is on him for what he's shown us up and down, it really is going to be a big question mark. Is he going to continue to grow?
They're going to have to continue, though, to get some weapons to you know, put some bullets in that gun to see what he can do with actual weapons.
Yeah, you know? I mean, I really don't. I think the offense is okay at its current stance. I think the offensive line is going to be pretty solid again. We didn't have much of an issue with that last year. Knock on wood, they were healthy for the most part last year. You got Devontae second year. He's going to blossom again. You got Pascal now. Okay. Hopefully they're banking on a step up from Quez. We'll see if that. Rager, whatever. You got Goddard. Pretty solid year last year. I would expect growth from him as well. And the running backs is kind of like, I'm not ruling them going out and getting a running back in the draft or something too. That's still a revolving door for that. They're not sold on Miles as much as I think they like him.
I'm not ruling anything out on that draft night.
No.
I mean,
but the thing is, I don't want to see offensive players taken. I just don't. I still am very adamant of them bulking up that D because that's where the age is for the most part, other than the offensive line. But they still have a lot of dogs up there that are going to keep battling and keep going, but they do have youth on the offensive line too, like Dickerson, Mulata. They have those guys in the reserves, but the defense is really where the age is with Fletch, BG. I mean, Steven Nelson, if you bring him back. McLeod in safety, he's getting up there. I mean, your main guys on defense are getting up in age. That they need to take studs in the draft. Young guys that can come in.
Yeah, I see a lot of these mock drafts now have us as trade bait, you know, moving that pick.
Well, that's what I mean with the Pickett thing. With the Pickett thing, are they trying? Are they actually into Pickett? Wouldn't put it past them. Or are they kind of trying to like prop him up and be like, oh, this is this guy that people need to come up and get him, and then go get the pick for next year, trade with someone, and move back in the round. So I don't know.
I still feel like we walk out of this draft with Nakobe Dean.
Well, that's fine by me.
I want that dude so bad.
It's really going to be interesting because the mock draft, it's not the normal draft. It's not going to be quarterbacks. 5 out of the first 10 picks are going to be quarterbacks. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a lot of depth.
This draft is heavy on defense and heavy on wide receivers.
Yep.
I mean, I heard today that Hamilton kid could be slipping.
That's what I heard too. A lot that Olave's been targeted with us a lot in mock drafts, but a lot of people are saying it's not worth a first round pick. It's depth, and you can get them later in like the second round or third round with a wide receiver.
I mean, if we could get that Smith kid, the safety from Notre Dame, he's slipping.
There's a lot of
who knows? But you know, that's one thing Lori wanted to try and say today is like this draft, we can't pin everything on Howie because it's a collective, you know, group that does this. But I mean, whatever Howie has on Jeffrey, I mean, more power to you. Because, God, I'm not feeling comfortable with Howie making 3 picks in the first round.
We'll see. Right? Honestly, right now, he's kind of back in a little bit of good grace. I mean, the draft was good last year. As much as people can't stand what's happening in free agency this year, I think the Reddick signing was good. I think some of these smaller signings were good. I think White has a lot of potential. I mean, see how the draft goes, and maybe he's back.
Seattle's in disarray. I'd be knocking on their door. What do you want for DK Metcalf? What do you want?
There are guys out there that you could get cheaper. It still is the big question. Are you going out and making that move for who knows what next year?
I'll give you a 1 Rager and friggin' $23 million for DK Metcalf.
Before we go here, Devontae Parker with the Dolphins kind of was a name that was getting thrown around.
Yeah, that was floated out there, but now
kind of died off.
The Dolphins are like, we're bringing him back. I don't know.
He's a bigger guy. He'd be decent.
I would not rule out a lot of fireworks on draft night.
I mean, I think
something's gonna
happen. It takes like a third to get him. Yeah. I don't think that's a lot. I think that's a smaller guy, but that's just another name to look out there. I don't think they're done, but I don't think they're having they don't have a big splash.
Yeah, I think they're bringing in some pieces that we need, and you know, the couple pieces that they did bring in, I love it, man.
Yeah, I like
Reddick and freaking this KYZIR White.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of upside with both those guys. Obviously, you know what you're getting with Reddick, and this White has really, like we said, a stamp of approval.
It seems like they're bringing in high energy guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that Gannon wants.
Yeah, big motors.
You know?
They got guys that can always be moving. And I think, once again, it's big on the defense, too, this year. That's why I think we want to add to this defense just to see what Gannon can do, because that's the big question mark. I don't think he's as bad as people have to say.
I'm not really a Gannon hater. I mean, look what he had to work with.
Exactly.
So let's give that guy some weapons, too, and see what he can do.
Exactly. So that's why I'm still big defense on the draft. We'll see as we get closer. We'll be back next Wednesday. I don't know what's happening next Wednesday. This guy's on a business trip in the middle of nowhere, USA. So I might be solo next week. Once again, not expecting a lot much. So we'll see if we can get something from him, or if I'll be here solo. But we'll be here Wednesday no matter what. We'll be back. So thank you guys always for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram @birds_squawk. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Go Birds.